information that would be near impossible to have front of mind. But I still am struggling that when we're talking about the papers and documents received, that's going to mean something. A person is going to interpret that as something. The information that you just shared with us through those links, Madam Clerk, I don't have confidence upon a quick review that they actually match up with the evidentiary record that was before this committee in the first section of the present Parliament. In the absence of that certainty, I can't know specifically which documents are in or are out, so I can compare them with the motion to determine whether the redactions were made in an appropriate way to comply with the request of this committee. So I'm just wondering, is there a potential path forward that you see that would allow us to actually confirm that the documents we're about to vote on that are the subject of the present amendment to the main motion, can we actually confirm that those documents are what certain members of this committee are saying they are?
I'll go to you again, Madam Clerk, and I don't know whether we have to bring in the others from the parliamentary branch or not, because I don't really want to put you on the spot, but answer as best
Point
you
of
can.
order,
And
Mr.
I believe
Chair.
Mr. Poilievre wants in as well. But just okay, point of order.
Yeah, the documents in question are very clear. In the amendment that you have, it basically refers to the conversations around we and the Canada Student Service Grant that happened in the 43rd Parliament. It doesn't say anything about what's on a website somewhere and the members' website or web link. There's nothing in the motion that deals with a website or a web link. It deals with the record, which is permanently crystallized into parliamentary history from the 43rd Parliament. It is very clear what the documents are. They are published. They are contained in something called the Blues, which members should be familiar with. The documents were turned over to this committee. At that time, there was a record of receipt of those documents and transmission of those documents to all committee members. All of that is in existence. The fact whether or not the clerk has put them on a website somewhere, whether there is a web link where Liberals can go and find it, is absolutely irrelevant to this debate. The documents and the testimony is now a permanent matter of public record, and that is what the amendment refers to. When this is reported to the House of Commons, this motion, then the Speaker and all MPs will be able to refer to those records. There's no confusion about that. I find it a little bit embarrassing. I feel badly for my Liberal friends who kind of embarrassed themselves by saying that they haven't done their homework on what happened only a few months ago right here in this committee prior to prorogation. To say that they are oblivious to those conversations, or that they have been unable in the 6 or 7 weeks since to pull up those documents and look at them, is kind of embarrassing. Use the basic rule that you come prepared. Ms. Jansen, who is a new member of this committee, seems to be more informed than Mr. Fragiskatis and Mr. Fraser, who are completely oblivious to what happened right before their eyes in committee meetings they attended. So I'd like to congratulate Ms. Jensen for—
Point of order, Mr. Chair. This is an example of the personal attack.
I'm in the middle of a point of order.
We're already into a point of order. We'll get to you next.
That is a personal attack.
Peter, Frank Fragiskatis, Mr. Poilievre.
Yeah, no, I'm merely pointing out what Mr. Fragiskatis has admitted. He has admitted that he is unprepared and that he has no idea what happened in the meetings that he attended. And that is the very basis for his argument that he can't vote. So
point of order, Mr. Chair. Another personal attack.
And Mr. Gerritsen are
completely unacceptable.
Are confused. Then that is a matter of poor preparation and not a matter of parliamentary procedure. So we can't hold everybody's hand because they haven't been able to do their homework. Canadians expect a high level of competence from their committee members. That's why they send us here. That's why they get paid. Parliamentarians get paid. And if they can't do their homework, maybe they should call up their whip and ask to be replaced by someone who can. I mean, Ms. Jensen has demonstrated she can show up to work prepared. So I ask that all members of the government side follow her example. Thank you.
Mr. Fragascatas, on a point of following.
To render a judgment call based on the interventions that were made and the questions that were raised by most of my colleagues, and we have yet to have answers to these questions, and they've been raised ever since last Thursday. Colleagues around this table have been quick to jump and call this filibustering and using sound bites for media. I get that. But Mr. Chairman, I think that the time has come that I submit this to you and ask you to consider if this motion that you have before you, for all the questions that I've raised and all the questions that my colleagues have raised up until now, if this motion is receivable.
Thank you, Madam Latanzio. If you're asking the clerk or the chair to judge whether the motion is in order, it absolutely is in order, and it is whether we like the wording or not is another story. But the motion is in order, and that's why we've continued to debate it for these hours that we have. Well, I take it that you're ceding the floor. Is that correct, Ms. Latanzio?
Have one final comment. How are we to control, based on what I've read in terms of the act, and Ms. Shanahan has read also, how can we control actions, the mother or a brother of a sitting MP? How far do we go? And it is, if it is within the purview of this committee. So many questions have been raised ever since last week, many interesting and I think valid questions, and we have yet to get answers on these questions, but yet we have colleagues that say nothing but let's vote, let's get to a vote. And it doesn't matter that you have questions, and it doesn't matter if you have concerns, Ms. Latanzio. It's just we got to get to a vote here. We got other business to take care of. If you want us to deal with other matters, we got to get this thing done. Well, I'm sorry. I think that we are parliamentarians. We have a job to do, and as Madame Gaudreau said, we have a very important work to do, especially on this committee. And I think that we need to get all the answers and information that we've requested before we make a decision. And I'm ready to cede the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Latanzio. Just to refresh everybody's memory, and because there are some additions as well, the next speakers are Mr. Sorbera, Mr. Barrett,